Let's add block drops via custom loot tables to our Fabric mod. If you want to go deeper, the 26.x modding courses are linked down below. 30 plus hours covering complex block entities with fluid and energy handling, custom mobs, custom networking, and even custom biomes and dimensions. Everything you need for 26.x all in one place, linked down below in the description. Alright, we found some back in channel once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be making our blocks over here actually drop something. I know, absolutely crazy. Last tutorial I said that the blocks will not drop anything because, number one, we have put the requires correct tool for drops call on the properties, meaning that they only drop something if they are added to the proper tags. And because we don't have anything like that set up yet, well, they're not going to drop anything. And even if you were to remove this, then it would still not work because you haven't defined the loot tables. And we're going to do both at the same time in this video. We're going to start off by defining what types of items or what types of tools and what value of tools, so like what the tool tier is going to be for all of our different blocks over here. Now we will do all of this via Datagen again, because I've said that we're not touching any JSON files unless it's the en_us JSON file, or I think one or two exceptions when it comes to obviously custom block models, because well, there's no other way to have a custom JSON file for that. Regardless, in the Datagen package, we're going to make two new Java classes. The first is the mod block tag provider, or I think it's tags provider. So the mod block tags provider. And then the second one is going to be the mod block loot table provider. Yeah, that's the second one. And we will start off with the tags. Highest level overview. Tags are collections of blocks, items, entities, whatever type of thing that we're adding to our mod. And tags give them a common purpose. So for example, you might have all of the fences in a fences tag, or all of the blocks that are mineable with a pickaxe in the mineable with pickaxe tag. That's basically the extent of this. The mod block tags provider will extend from the Fabric tags provider dot block tags provider. We're going to hover over this to implement the add tags method. We'll hover over this again, create constructor matching super, and instead of here, we basically just need to add the tags. To add the tags, we want to call the value lookup builder, passing in the tag that we want to add our things to. In this case, we can add blocks to a block tag, and that is under block tags dot. And then here, mineable with pickaxe is the tag that we want to add something to. And then we call the add method, passing in here modblocks.flowRide block. And in theory, that would be that. If you want to add multiple, we can simply add multiple ones over here. Of course, it shouldn't be the same, right? So that it should definitely be different ones. So for example, the raw one, then we get the ore right here. We can add the nether ore. Actually, first is the deep slate. That's the deep slate ore. And then we have, for example, the nether ore right here. And finally, the end ore. And the nether ore obviously added last time, or between the episodes, so to speak. And there we have it. So now all of these blocks will be mineable with a pickaxe. So after we added a loot table, they will now be properly mineable. That's pretty good. But maybe you also want to make sure that certain of these blocks are only mineable with a specific tier. For that, value lookup builder again, we pass in block tags, and then there's a needs_x tool. So there's the iron tool, diamond tool, and stone tool. If you don't add it, then every single tool will be usable. So like every tier will be usable. If you add stone tool, then your block added to the stone tool cannot be mined with the wood, but it can always be mined with ones above it. That's very important. So if you add it to the stone tool, it can still be mined with iron, diamond, and netherite. Netherite, as you can see, is missing right here because there is no netherite tier. Theoretically, you could feasibly make this yourself, but it's very rare that it ever is really needed. But yeah, then we have the mod blocks dot, or that might actually be the case. Let me actually double check this. There might be that Fabric adds this. I don't 100% know. Would this be under tags? Tags dot. I don't think that there's anything, there's any like tag from Fabric though. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Fabric should have tags, but I'm not 100% sure right now on what that is. So let's just go ahead and let's say, for example, the deep slate ore can only be mined with iron. And just for the sake of argument over here, for the, let's do a diamond. So this is needs diamond tool. We're going to add the nether and the end ore just for the sake of argument over here. And then we will see. There we go. And now those are only mineable with these or the tiers above. And that is fine. To use the mod block tags provider, we go back to our Datagen class over here. We simply duplicate this and replace it with the mod block tags provider. Very straightforward, nothing too crazy. And there we go. We can then move on to the loot table. So this is going to be for the actual drops. What is supposed to drop for our blocks here? And this class will extend the fabric block loot sub provider over here. Exactly right. Where we're going to implement the generate method. We're going to hover over again, create constructor matching super. And then in the generate method, that is where all of our different, well, drops go. For very simple blocks, it is simply the drop self. Super simple, modblocks.fluoride block, and the same thing goes for the raw block. However, now we get into the ores, where it gets a little more complicated. You might say, oh, just drop itself. Well, hold on a second. Usually, ores, when mined normally, they drop the raw, like the raw iron, for example, right? Iron ore is going to drop raw iron. And also, it is affected by looting, or rather fortune, right? So it's actually the enchantment there also plays a difference. So that's why we of course need to do something different. Here, super simple. So any block that doesn't drop itself, we simply call the add method, passing first of all in the block itself. So this would be the fluoride ore. And then here we can call all sorts of methods. As you can see, these are all builders, and that's exactly what we want to do. In this case, we are going to call the create ore drop method, where the first parameter is the block that it's going to drop when you have, for example, silk touch, because that's also important. And the second thing is the item that it normally drops, in this case, raw fluorite. Now we can do the same thing for this and let's say for the deep slate right here. However, then we may say, you know what, I actually kind of want the end and the nether ore to drop multiple, basically similar to how, for example, coal or something like that works. That's not an issue. What you can do is you can control left click or middle mouse button click on this, and you can go into here and actually take a look at all of these. For example, we can take a look at the copper ore drops over here. Now, one of the, let's say, quote unquote issues here is sadly that it hard codes that raw copper should drop from this specific method over here. If that wasn't the case, oh, what greatness that would be. But sadly, the ore drops over here, there's only 3 of them, and they all do redstone, they do raw copper, they do lapis over here, all hard-coded. So what we can do though is we can take this method and we're going to copy it over. So we just select it all, press Ctrl C to copy it over, and then we add it as a helper method right here. Now what we want to do is I'm just going to format this slightly differently, but nothing too crazy over here. And then what we're going to do is basically I want to separate out 3 things. Number 1, the item right here should be an item. So we're going to add this as a parameter over here. So I'm going to say item right here. Of course, import the item class. Then we're going to have a float, which is the min drops, and a float with the max drops. So we can then replace the raw copper over here with the item parameter, the minimum drops with the min drops over here, and the maximum drops with the max drops. And just like that, we've basically made a helper method to create not copper ore drops, but multiple ore drops. That's super useful, and in my opinion, also very easily done. Generally speaking, when it comes to, well, everything that it does over here, it kind of says it on the tin, right? We're creating a silk touch table over here, which also has the ore bonus added when a fortune enchantment is applied. You don't necessarily need to understand the entire loot table and how that works. If you are interested in it, you can always look at the block loot sub provider and see basically every single method that vanilla uses over here for the block loot tables, or for the loot table, for the block loot tables in this case. So you can always check that as well. Highly recommended to, well, I mean, look at that and then create your own loot tables if you have anything insane in mind. But generally speaking, we can then just basically call the add method again for, let's say, the nether ore right here. Also, oh, I just see this. Look at this. Boom. This has to be deep slate over here. I saw it early enough. And then this one over here will, of course, be the create multiple ore drops where the first parameter is going to be the nether ore, then the new item, and then let's say between 3 and 6 drops over here for the nether one, and then maybe for the end ore, maybe we're going to have even more, right? Maybe the end ore is going to drop between like 5 and 8 or something like that. Of course, when it comes to the numbers, you can always change those later down the line as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But generally speaking, that is going to define our loot tables for our ores and our normal blocks with a, custom helper method over here to create a little bit more of an interesting multiple ore drops in this case. And I know that sounds crazy, but these are actually all the steps that we need. We now need to take the mod block loot table provider and also add it right here, mod block loot table provider. That is going to be because it's not because it's not public. Absolutely. That has to make public. And all of a sudden, boom, we are good to go. And that is basically it. So the tags will ensure that our blocks are mineable with a pickaxe. This is definitely needed because we're calling the requires correct tools for drop method over here. And then also, basically gating some behind certain tiers of tools. And finally, we've defined the loot tables over here via the Datagen. So now we can go to the data generators, run that, and there's going to be all sorts of different data JSON files written right here. It's going to be quite a few. And we can see there's a couple of them under the loot tables in tutorial mode. And then there's a couple of tags under Minecraft. This is actually correct in this case because the tags are always dependent on the mod, so to speak. And in this case, the namespace and a Minecraft namespace would have the Minecraft tags. So the tags are super simple. It is literally just a list of values over here. Similarly right here, right? So you can see these are all the values that we've defined over here, now mineable with a pickaxe. And the loot tables, well, to drop itself, it's not that crazy, right? I mean, it's fairly straightforward. However, when we get to the end ore and it drops, like different stuff like Silk Touch, and then it drops between like 5 and 8 over here with a uniform distribution, it gets a little bit more complicated. Now, imagine you had 20 different ores. Obviously you wouldn't type this out, you would copy it over, but how easy is it to make a mistake over here in any one of these different lines? It's very, very easy. So that is why I always recommend you basically go with the Datagen from the very beginning, from the get-go. It's just way, way better. Yeah, having added all of this, let's jump into the game and see if it works. Alright, fans, back in Minecraft, and first of all, obviously change to survival mode, otherwise you're not going to be able to see it. And in theory, I think this one should drop itself even with stone, absolutely. Now for this one also works with stone, it does indeed. And then, for example, these ones, you can even see this one, yeah, okay, there you go, it didn't work even with iron. However, at diamond, both of those will drop their drops. I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about. You can see that it also takes a little bit longer here with the iron one. It doesn't work. And then these ones, I think this one is with iron only, right? Yeah, there we go. And then if I try to use stone, no, then it was the deep state one. The deep state one, yeah, that also already takes a longer time, you can see, and it doesn't drop anything. But with iron, it does drop the raw fluorite. Absolutely fantastic. And you can also try out the axe over here. You can see it basically already takes way too long of a time. I don't think that you would even try it out. So there we go. That is, well, custom loot drops over here added to our blocks. Awesome. As always, all of the code is available to you down below in the description, but that's going to be it for this tutorial right here. I hope you found this useful and you learned something new. And next time, we're going to talk about recipes. Until then, so yeah.